What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of yesterday's episode. We were hearing from a couple lifers and people doing over 20 years in prison. They kind of broke down why they were in there, and today I think they're going to break down a little bit of the pain that they're experiencing while doing time. It's definitely an eye-opener. And one thing that someone said in the video yesterday is his whole life was changed in 10 seconds. You gotta be very careful with what you're doing or who you're with, because your life could be changed within an instant. But if you enjoy this type of content, all things lockup and crime related, this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out the playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today.
When I was 7 years old, I was locked up in a home until I was 9. And then from 10 to 13. And then from 14 to 16. I had my first homicide at 17. I went to prison till I was, 21, Joe? 21. I got out. At the age of 22, I was accused of killing another person and was placed in prison, and I've been here ever since. So I guess from the age of 7 years old, I probably only have about 2, maybe 3 years on the street. I'm what you call an institutional baby.
Now picture this, you just got done with a little scrimmage on the softball field in prison, playing against your arch nemesis from Unit 6, and y'all win. It's a glorious moment in prison. You go to the showers, sit down next to this man right here, your sidekick out there in the outfield. Y'all work together like 2 peas in a pod. You sit down waiting in line to take a shower, and you start opening up a bit, getting to know him a little bit more than just softball. He asks you when you're going home. You tell him honestly in a few months. He replies back, "Man, that's amazing. I'm glad to hear you're going home pretty soon." Then you ask him the same question back. "When are you going home, bro?" "Man, unfortunately, I'm not going home. This is where I'm gonna die. I killed 2 people. After he tells you that, you realize you're going to have to steer this conversation in a different direction. You're about to tell him you couldn't wait to get out and go to Old Country Buffet. But you can't be talking to a lifer about stuff he's never going to have again. So you start talking about prison again. You going to be getting that holiday pack this year? Knowing damn well you're going to be gone before the holiday pack even arrives. In all seriousness, that is a true story that I had waiting in line in a prison shower. Minus the whole holiday pack reply, but I definitely turned the conversation back into prison mode. I was not going to be talking about freedom.
Being locked up as a juvenile tricked me, faked me out. Because a lot of places I got locked up in, they had mini bikes, they had horses and ping pong tables. And I was raised to believe that that's what prison life was all about. But then when I hit 17 and I hit the real penitentiary, and I was looking for horses and mini bikes. You know what I mean?
Wow. I mean, yeah, we've heard old stories from like Louisiana. They got the boxing, bull riding, and in other parts of the country, they have different special little things going on in prison. But never have I heard about mini bikes and ponies. This guy was fed a bunch of bull crap from someone.
Things on my wrists from being handcuffed. Prison's no joke, man. I took prison as an educational stepping stone. I'm gonna come to jail, toughen my game up, take it back out to the street, and I'm 15 years later, I'm still trying to get out and do all that, and I'm never gonna get out. The only way I'm gonna get out is die.
Turn
around.
There's no turning back now.
Take the jumpsuit off. How many sets of underwear do you have?
On me?
Right.
One.
You'll be issued another set of underwear. That'll give you 2 sets of underwear. 1 to wash, 1 to wear. If you're here more than 60 days, you'll be allowed to ask for another set. Socks. Do not shake them out.
Man, strip searches, I swear, you never get used to it. It's still a little funny every single time. One time, dude strip searched me so many times at visitation that I just started doing a little twirl on his ass while I was naked. I shouldn't have done that. But anyways, these are old stories I've already told on this channel. Very degrading. Very degrading to get naked in front of strangers, man. Animalistic. Barbarish. Barbarian.
The scenario on what's going on down here is first thing in the morning, at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're going to hear count. At that time, you'll be on your door with your light on, ready to stand count. Shortly after that, they're going to say yard up. If you want to go to the yard, you'll be on your door with your light on. You announce your name and number for the yard. Every inmate down here is capable of being single or double celled. If you're in a cell with the cellie, you cannot answer for your cellie. He cannot answer for you. If you're in a cell by yourself, whatever bunk you're assigned, whether it be top or bottom, that's the only bunk that you'll reside in. You do not use the other bunk for storage. You do not.
This guy's a walking institutional handbook. It's going in one ear and out the other on the inmate because he already knows all this petty ass bullshit. You don't have to recite the citations and all that crap for someone that's been doing 15. He's gonna fall right into place, man.
Not put anything on the walls, windows, or doors. If you want to sign up for sick call, you can sign up for sick call on any shift. 2 to 10 nurse will collect them. The doctor will be around to see you the next day. If you want to go to sick call, do not go to the yard. The doctor will not come out in the yard to see you. At about 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll hear yard up again. At that point in time, you'll be on your cell door with your light on, in your skivvies or your jumpsuit in hand. You will be strip searched before you go to the yard.
Good old skivvies. I call them come get me's. But that's a different story for a different day. I did want to address one thing that he said. Sick call. Do not go to the yard because sick call does not come out to the yard. And that's something you don't want to miss, man. They charge a pretty penny just to get a damn aspirin, a Tums, something like that. Just minute things. They charge some money for it. The sick call alone, I think, is like $9. And $9 taken away from your canteen money is a lot. I mean, that's like 100 soups or something like that. 10 cent a soup. When I was in there, it was like 13 cent. And I'm sure they probably increased now. But it's expensive, man. So don't be missing those sick calls. And always remember this as well. If you got a headache and you put in a sick call for some aspirin, you ain't going to get it till probably the next day at the earliest. Your headache's going to be gone. Your heartburn's going to be gone. That's why a lot of people, they'll hustle this stuff, especially the indigent individuals. They're never going to pay them back. So they're going to stockpile it for themselves. And if anybody ever needs something, they got something to make a little money with. That's the name of the game. It won't never change. People's always hustling something in prison. Even the indigent guys, man, they get free books of stamps and envelopes and pens and all kinds of stuff. And they sell all of it.
Anytime you come out of your cell down here, you'll be handcuffed from the rear, and you back out of your cell. We do not make personal phone calls for you. Any business you have to take care of with your counselors or anyone like that will be done with a request slip only. If you happen to be in a top bunk and you're in a cell by yourself, you want to go to the bottom bunk, you will submit a request slip. You will not move until you're authorized. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Turn around.
When's chow, bro? I'm starved.
Turn around. Cuff them up.
We got cake or cookie tonight, Sarge. Damn. Just give me that. What's my cellie charged with, man? Let me know now.
This way.
When they walked me here, they walked me on E block, and I looked around and seen what looked like hundreds of people, you know, all looking at me.
I pulled up in that van before I even got the jacket or my blues for that prison. I was in the van looking at that yard of all the orange beanies walking in the laps like cattle. Huge, huge prison, man. It's like a giant city all on its own. Fast forward a bit, I get my outfit and stuff, and as soon as I get to the building, I put my stuff in the cell, but they also have yard call. And this is just my 2 cents. If you're brand new into prison and they make a yard call, I'd suggest you go out there, man. Just kind of get in the mix. I didn't really get in the mix, but I just kind of went with the flow of everything else. And I sat on this bench, and I'll never forget every single person that walked past me on that track stared right at me. Some people said some things, and some people looked like they were plotting to get me. And then other guys were looking at me like, hey, that could possibly be my friend. All eyes on you is exactly what you're going to be going through if you hit the prison yard for the first time.
Right then and there, I knew I wasn't the tough guy I was. I felt it.
For sure.
You know, I found myself in a position where
I was no longer that person I was on the street.
Nope.
You know, and it was rough.
In the street, in your little neighborhood or something, you might be the head honcho, the craziest guy in town. I promise you step foot in prison, there's gonna be someone crazier waiting. That's when a lot of people realize that the small world they live in is actually huge, and they're just a little speck of sand. That's how it is when you're in prison for the first time. You're nothing. Nobody knows you. Nobody cares. It's just how are they gonna use you?
When I first came here, I came from the Youth Study Center, and my heart was bumping, and every time the bus got close to the wall seemed small from a distance. But every time, I knew my life was over. Especially when they hit the back, when they hit the gate, I seen the guard in the tower with a shotgun. I knew it was over. 16 years old, and that's when my life ended. When my first day in here was the day that I began to die.
This man's doing life for a fight that he got into with his friends. Someone ended up losing their life. And from what he said, a lot of people got arrested for this murder. So always be careful with the company you keep. You never know who's going to take it to another level.
I was gripped in fear, you know, because when I first walked in this jail and seen how big this jail was, and I seen how many people was here, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's so much noise and so much chaos and so much confusion, and it's so many things going on around you till you really never get a chance to collect your thoughts.
It's because everybody has to keep their mind going, man. They all have something that they're trying to find, get done, or something.
I was put in a state prison, 17 years old, around state prisoners as a federal prisoner. And like I said, back then I just about shaved. And it was rough because everybody's looking at you. And nowadays I know what it was. Even then I knew what it was and I was scared. You know what I mean? It's like, guy's been in jail a long time, there's a young kid coming in and long hair back then. And it was an eye-opener.
Oh, that was a bland story, bro, but baby face, long hair, don't care in prison. Pennsylvania at that, man. I've heard some booty bandit stories from that state. Don't let me go down the Pink Palace path. Shout out to King Frank on that story, but yeah, that guy probably definitely had a couple run-ins with some booty bandits in his time.
When I first came to prison, I was 16 years old. It's my first time upstate. This is where they brought me at when I first got here. This is the process area. Basically where you lose who you are as a person. They take all that away from you. You're not even considered a person anymore, just a number now. And this is where it all begins. And from the way it looks, I got a long life of this ahead of me.
We're gonna go through stages down here. When it's time to take inventory of your property, we'll call you over there, we'll take inventory together. At that time, we will tell you what you can have, what you can't have. Right now, sir, you need to get naked and put everything in the box for a strip search. Put it all in the box. Everything means everything.
Well, I was really taken aback when I first came here. I was signing in.
This man told his story in part 1 as well. Him and his friend were juveniles, decided to rob a lady. Well, she happened to have fallen, hit her head, and died. He's been in prison for 27 years since he was 17. And this guy, like I said in part 1, I truly feel like he regrets every last second of it.
Well, I was really taken aback when I first came here. I was signing in. The officer asked me, when you die, where do you want your body sent to? And they give you a paper that's like a will, who you leave your last possessions to. That's when reality came and slapped me in the face like a George Foreman left hook. Where do I send my body to? That's when it hit me, you're in here for life. And I realized, man, it's over. What did you get yourself into? How did you allow yourself to become involved in something like that? Now look at you. And I had to tell my mom and dad their son was going to die in the penitentiary.
For some reason, man, that guy, when he speaks, it plays with my heartstrings. You'd be terrified of him if you seen him in the block in prison because you wouldn't know nothing about him. Big, intimidating looking guy. Turns out he might be one of the nicest. The thing about prison is you just never know.
When I came up here and looked down that hallway and looked and seeing how long it was and them gates closed behind me, my little heart pumped Kool-Aid.
I say that all the time. Sweet as a Jolly Rancher, heart-pumping Kool-Aid, cheeks as soft as cotton.
To adjust to the penitentiary is the hardest thing in the world. As a matter of fact, you're a better man than I am if you're able to adjust, because I haven't been able to adjust to it in 25 years. Each cell block has anywhere between 500 and 700 people.
Dang, those are big cell blocks.
You know, and that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
You know, that's...
The biggest jail cell block I was in housed 115. Well, actually, I went to Powhatan and Reception. That probably had about 400 inmates, but 500 to 600 inmates in one cell block. Can you imagine the shit that's going down in there?
500 to 700 different personalities.
5 to 7.
Plus, you have to deal with the personalities of the guards.
Hands up on the wall.
You have to deal with the personality of the prison. That's a whole lot of dealing with, and dealing with your baggage too.
I'm sure you've heard that a lot with all these prison channels, man. You're going to deal with a lot of personalities. And keep in mind, like I said, man, a lot of these people are coming from neighborhoods where they were kind of like the kings of it. In their mind, they're the boss, so it's going to show in their personality. That's when people start getting killed, tricked up, and stuff like that, because you're not no boss in prison. 99% of the time, it's like that. You're going to have to fall in place and become that little person.
This is where I live at. It's what they call C Block. This is my street. This is my neighborhood. This is my world. This right here is my cell. A156, right here. See that? That's my cell right there. This is where I live at, my cell. It's basically a 6 by 9 foot box, concrete and steel. You can touch both sides of the wall. See that? You can touch both sides of the wall. This is where I live at. This is where I sleep. This is where I eat. This is where I drink. This is where I play. This is where I go to the bathroom. This is where my entire world exists in a 6 by 9 foot cell.
Can you imagine living in a box, in a bathroom? Just go to your home, take the toilet out and the bathtub and put a bed in there. That's where you're gonna live for the rest of your life. I produce this here. This is what I produce all day long. This is what I do. Service, DOC. DOC, spell it backwards, cash on deliver. That's what you will become. The minute you step in the receiving room, these people want to cuff you up, put you in blues. 6 months later, you'll be running around here, pushing the broom, working. It ain't no laying around, I'm tired, I just came from school. Nah, you gonna get up for count. You gonna go to work. That's all you gonna do in here.
I'd say from level 3 and down, you will have opportunities to get jobs like this, to get up out your cell and actually get a little activity in your life. But those higher levels are all controlled movements, no programs jumping. You're in your cell 20 to 22 hours a day. Cross the yellow line, you are gonna get shot. And in the state of Virginia, you get sentenced to 10 years or more, or a violent crime, that's where you're gonna be going. I was never able to do any of these jobs. I could never do it because I had violent crimes on my record. But these guys are in here for murder doing life. How did they become part of this program? First off, they had to have been very good in the institution for a long period of time to be trusted in a shop like this with those kind of charges. And secondly, the managers or the COs that work or run this little shops, they much rather have someone that's going to be there for a long time so they can get the hang of things and then teach other new inmates, help them save time on their job. Some requirements for some jobs, you had to have more than 7 years. You're going to be waiting in the waiting line for 2 to 3 maybe sometimes.
Inmate probably did all this in one day. All this right here. You could combine this. This is the equivalent to 25 cents worth of work right here. And after this, we bring it back here. After this, we bring it back here. And from here, they stock it in the shells. They stock it in the shells right here.
Man, oh man, today was another eye-opening episode, wasn't it? We're going to wrap it up right there, though, and save the rest for a part 3. The good thing about these episodes is you can pick up at any given time and learn a little something. But hopefully y'all enjoyed, and as always, I salute to every last one who's been supporting me since the beginning, and everybody who's just now joining the lockdown compound. Y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.